After so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear, I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own.
Peace and love, family. Welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with my brother and former political prisoner,
Abdul Hafiz Lamb.
Today, we continue our discussion on the lessons that we learned from Sekou Odinga and moving forward. And we got our brother Tutmos on with us. You know, he could share some of his experience with Sekou and how we use those experiences and those lessons to continue to struggle, to move our people forward, to continue to fight for the freedom of our political prisoners. Peace and love, brother. How you be?
Peace and love, free them all. Excellent, comrades. Good to be here with y'all for this very important political discussion.
Salute.
Absolutely. You know,
Salute
for those people who don't know who for those people who don't know you, man, brief the people on who you are, man.
Word. I'm Brother Tutmos Sankara. I serve currently as the chair of the African Union's Diaspora Office under Dr. Linda Jeffries and Professor James Smalls. I serve as the Southern Region chair. I'm from Florida. I'm genealogically Seminole. I reside here in Atlanta, where I serve in that post. My work with political prisoners over the years has been intense. I've had the opportunity to be a political prisoner myself here in Atlanta. I was arrested by the Joint Terrorist Task Force of the FBI in 2007 for guns. And while serving in USP Atlanta, I met Veronza Bowers. And although previously in the New Panther Party, which I served in from 2000 to 2004, serving as chairman from 2002 to 2004, we had done work around political prisoners, but after having that experience, I went headlong into dedicating the majority of my time into seeing about these U.S. held political prisoners, and the experience inside with Veronza was life-changing. Veronza is he's a magical, mystical warrior is what he is. And some of the things that he imparted unto me changed my life and changed my political direction. And so over the years, I created in 2012 the Freedom of All Political Prisoners Liberation Committee. Having had the chance to work with several campaigns, the MOVE campaign with Mama Pam and Brother Roz, working with the Kui, even before Baba Sekou came home, working with also, as I mentioned, Veronza Bowers and his campaign, Sekou and Mama Jinga Conway, several others, all contributed to that campaign, which we're still working on. He's been granted parole, but we're still keeping an eye on his campaign. So that's just a little bit about myself.
Oh, that's very extensive and very impressive. So, you know, we show solidarity with you by the continuation of this work. And today, as we focus on Sekou, a body of work, right? I think it's very important to know the distinction between sympathy and solidarity, right? Some of us could be like, we could say freedom all, but actually, what does that mean to us? How do we internalize that? Are we a part of an organization? Are we committed to doing that work? Are we writing to political prisoners? Are we struggling to visit political prisoners? Are they being a part of our organizing work? I think that this is very important because if we don't make the distinction between sympathy and solidarity, then, you know, that will not give us that edge that we need. It won't be as productive as it should be, because solidarity is actually doing the work. But that's one of the things that we
Right.
want to let people know, that there's always something you could do, right? We say like, share with as many people as possible, attend to a program, have discussions with your family, have your children write to political prisoners, and find out when a political prisoner has a visit, find out when they're up for parole. And I think make it your business to write the parole board. Don't be happy with a simple reply from them. Ask them, why did they make the decision that they made? So if they make a decision the first time, and the next time you're prepared to counter the reason why they did it the other time. But I think that us as taxpayers, we should demand clarity on the parole board's decision, right? Because they paid by taxpayers. The jails are constructed by taxpayers. So you need to answer to taxpayers. And we as taxpayers need to make that demand. We need to organize, and we need to do what needs to be done to hold the parole board accountable, not to us, right? And not to their personal views, because they're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to be the face and the voice of justice. And we have to say we are justice. We are the standards of justice as taxpayers.
Right.
So Abdul Haq Islam.
Yeah, peace and love. Brother Tub Moses.
Hey, good to see you again,
Atlanta, to the West End.
Yes, sir.
In your time in Atlanta, did you ever have a chance to go through Imam Jamil's masjid? I used to camp there when I went there trying to spend time in Atlanta. I would camp in the masjid there.
Absolutely.
Imam Jamil, formerly known as H. Crab Brown.
Right.
So while he was free, you got a chance to encounter the brother?
Oh, absolutely. When I first got here, as a matter of fact, I had the opportunity there at the park. I was meeting with the New Black Panther Party, and Dr. Khalid and Imam were meeting there at the park. And so I got the chance to be in the environment of both of them. Very shortly after that, which goes to show you the FBI Atlanta, I'm telling you, these people are some of the most evil people on the planet. They target the Black Panther Party in this city and the Liberation Army. Imam Jamil Al-Amin, don't forget about Kamal Siddiqui. Of course, we know a lot of the BLA activity occurred around the city of Atlanta back in the day, and those people have not forgotten, right? So that Imam Jamil and the community has continued. What he built continued on. And of course, to support the Imam Jamil Action Network, Babu Bilal, Sunni Ali, and the rest of the Congress, we continue to fight for Imam Jamil's liberation, and we ain't giving up on that. That's for sure. We're going to get that elder free. We know what happened. They set him up. The police, the guy who actually did it, admitted, wrote a statement, said it was him. He fit the description of the person that the police described, but still arrested and incarcerated Imam.
You just something, brother? That's deep.
Actually, yes, because that confession that you just mentioned, we did a TikTok video and we put that out there. So we want people to follow the brother's campaign and let people know that there is an admission of guilt, very detailed, and that should be something that goes viral.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm realizing that we as organizers need to do is utilize various platforms to get the conversation going on political prisoners. Like you have Math Hoffa, his platform is pretty big. You got T.I., his platform is pretty big. David Banner, his platform is pretty big. And I think that, anybody who's doing work should reach out to them and let them know that there's a story that needs to be told. And that story is that the United States has political prisoners. And they've been locked up for 20, 30, 40, and 50 years. And it's time for them to go home, and we got to put more pressure on those people who claim that they're fighters of injustice. And we know that, this is a rigorous fight, because when you look at what's going on in Palestine, and regardless of all the support that the Palestinians have there's still no ceasefire at this moment. So that lets you know that our oppressor is vicious. Our oppressor is very serious about carrying out an agenda, and we have to be serious about our people's liberation. We have to be serious about how we're going to raise our children, and in us being serious, we have to be willing to fight long term. So that means that we gotta study more. There's a good book out there for those who don't know, and I see you holding up the same book, my brother. This incredible book, the collective autobiography of the Panther 21, and Sekou Odinga's story is in it. So for those of you who want to get into detail about that story, about his autobiography, coming up from South Jamaica, Queens, being involved in a number of organizations and doing what needs to be done, pick up that book. Then you get an understanding of what drove him to take a position. So Sekou, one of the things that Sekou taught me, when you accept the position of leadership, you have to have vision, and I really appreciate that, because we do have to have vision. In 2024, there's a number of things that we can do to get our ideas out there, right? And we have to always think ahead, because one of the things that I've learned in the last couple of years is that this work has to be in your heart. It have to stay in your heart, because there's going to be people that's going to stick around short term, and there's going to be people that's going to be around long term. And for you to do this long term, it has to be in your heart, because even your loved ones would take you off course with love, because they love you so much. They feel you're being deprived of a life because of your dedication to this work. But little they know that this is your life. You have satisfaction carrying out purpose and a mission. When I looked at Sekou and been around Sekou, and just to see him being continuous with his work, I was very impressed. I was very motivated. So it was an honor to be around him, ask him questions, learn, and make that commitment to doing this work. If What are some of the lessons that you learned from Sekou?
I was just looking at my book too, and I didn't realize until I picked it up an hour ago that he actually had signed my book. Signed the book on his page, 87 there, where it starts to begin his autobiography. And so, having studied, it was almost like a dream to be studying someone one day and then actually being their comrade later on. It's like it's just like this weird dichotomy of this historical figure and then the actual elder in front of you. And so Sekou deepened and broadened my understanding of particularly international African politics. Because those of us who know Sekou's story know that he went to Algeria to organize the international section of the Black Panther Party. And so that dichotomy, that effort there was one that I questioned him significantly on. Like, how did how you get past the borders and avoid, the cracker and all of this stuff, right? And so, of course, things are different these days, but the underlying operational technique of an underground revolutionary remains the same, right? So that's what he said. He said that the concepts of secrecy, the discipline of keeping your mouth closed, not hanging around a lot of people, keeping your business to yourself, being organized, having surveillance over yourself, these type of things he discussed with me, and I had a chance to really just say some of the ways that I thought differently than he did, but now understood through his experience that these were wiser ways to operate, because these days it's all about trying to recruit, we're in position of trying to bring people into the fold. Sekou was like, Tutmos, just be a revolutionary. That's what is the attraction. You spend a lot of time trying to convince people instead of just being it. And that was that that just a light bulb just went off in my head, because it's what I wanted to do, but just felt like I had to contribute something to bringing people into the knowledge of the liberation of the African struggle, particularly in regards to the political prisoners. Being here in Atlanta, a lot of New African, right, organizations, the Republic of New Africa, Malcolm X Grassroots, a lot of organizations here have an understanding of the concept of us being a nation, right? And I've always said that no nation can really call itself a nation unless you fight for the prior warriors of that nation, right? It's like, to have a national identity, you have to stand up for the political prisoners who actually fought for the national liberation struggle. That's what gives you your identity as a nation. That flag behind me is the symbol of the nation, but the actual political organization and the fight for the liberty of those political prisoners defines one as a nation, right? And so Sekou let me understand that it wasn't just about, because when he was here in Atlanta, he stayed with me, stay at the house, and I'd take him over to Watani Tayahimbo or Baba AK, Akinyele Moja, his other comrades, and we would get a chance to have discussions together, and Baba Sekou wanted me to understand that overall concept of us being a nation, to understand we're not a scattered population of people in these different cities. We have a symbol. We have a history of struggle. It just takes those of us who are in the position and have that experience to step into that position of struggle and that role of a revolutionary, and let the example be what the people see more so than our rhetoric. You know what I mean? Just like with them, it was more about the programs, more so than them giving speeches. So these days, with the advancement of white supremacy to the point where it is now, and our access to technology, you know what I mean? Because I remember Baba was saying, man, if I had all the stuff y'all got now, you could actually buy a drone and put something on it and send it to somebody right now today. You could do that. Right? So, I mean, even today, Baba was still thinking about ways and techniques of carrying out that liberation struggle. And to me, that genius, that because we get caught up in the details of struggle instead of understanding the concept. Yes, the details going to change, times modernize and all that, but the concepts of struggle remain the same. And Baba helped me to understand that, so I could try to start to implement some of the more modern techniques over those time and tested and true concepts of African struggle.
Wow, that's very powerful, because as you was talking, I was thinking about, I have a habit of asking somebody who's been doing this work longer than me a number of questions. And he used to give me a look from time to time, and that look said a lot more than what his answer would say, because the look would let me know that I got a brain like you got a brain. So I would think more about what I needed to do, and he would ask me, what do you think? And then, I would take it from there. And that was very important for me, because I think that in those positions, you have to make some decisions, and you have to build up your confidence. And your confidence is built up by learning from your mistakes. And so I give him a lot of credit for putting me in a position to make decisions. And he always, to me, gave you what you was capable of proving that you can handle. And that came through your consistency and your commitment. So as more I was committed to something, the more he would give me in terms of responsibilities. So I learned to deal with people accordingly. Like, people could say a whole bunch of things, but if I need you at a particular place, at a particular time to carry out a particular action, will you be there? And if you're not there and telling me about why you couldn't be there, and I'm supposed to, have confidence in your explanation, now your position with me or our relationship has restrictions, and you're questionable regarding your position in terms of commitment to a particular arrangement of things going on. And so I'm very thankful for Sekou for that lesson. Abdul Islam, what lesson do you think did you get from your experiences with Sekou?
Well, Sekou was very, very powerful brother, very, very strong brother, you know, and being around him, made me set higher standards for myself. His selflessness. Everything Sekou did, he did for the people, for other people. Even this broadcast we're doing right now, came through the work of Sekou, of his organizing. He organized the Northeast Political Prisoners Committee, and that's who we are, and that's who are doing this podcast, and so I think in terms of being love for the people, working for the people, Sekou was a great example. He had a very, very powerful principle, of looking out for his folks, his brothers and sisters. For example, the great example, is the liberation of Sister Asad Shakur. And if anybody out there has a way to contact her, get her ideas on Sekou, don't do it electronically though, because everybody try to send a goon squad. But that would be a good thing if we could get some words from her, in a way that they can't track her down, But yeah, he, all his everything he did, his whole life was dedicated to working for his people. You study his biography, his activities as a revolutionary, dealing with education, economics, the stand against police brutality, being very, very principled, the love he had for the people. These are very, very valuable gems, you understand, in history, historical gems that our youth and our people and the generations coming up will learn from over and over and over again. You know, and so I am very, very privileged, to have spent some time with the brother, be part of an organization that he created, and to carry on his work, and so salute to the brother, he was, I prayed with the brother, we fasted together doing Ramadan. He was a believer, and what he did, his work was righteous. The enemy likes to criminalize what we do for our people, but everything he did for the people was the act of righteousness. It came, from a very, very benevolent, and a great and a loving spirit. So may the brother, may Allah grant him the highest place in paradise. And his legacy will live on and on and on.
Sekou gave his life to the advancement of our people, to the liberation of our people. And even when his last couple of months of physically existing, he organized people to be there for him. He wanted his brothers there. He wanted his sisters there. He wanted his fellow freedom fighters there to help him through this rough period. So he remained a fighter to the very end. And I think that yes, that's an example that we need to follow, because there's going to be times where we're going to feel down and as if nobody's there for us. And then we have to look at those who are with us, those who have been with us for a number of time, and we have to call on them, and we have to let them know, what vision we have, and we have to take it from there. And we have to rely on our body of work to continue to keep our connection with our people, because that's what you stand on your work, right? Sekou wouldn't have been able to get the response if he didn't have that body of work to stand on. So I was very impressed with the response that he was able to get, the love that was shown more than just words, and that inspired me to know that there are a group of people that are out there that feels the same way about each other that I do about Black people. So that was very important and inspiring to me. So
Yeah,
I think that's as we move forward, that's our duty. You was
absolutely.
about to say something, brother?
Yeah, I was,
Yeah. So
uh, for what I remember us discussing Cuba and like solidarity and the and like I said, Africa, the international experience, the Cuban doctors in Africa, that type of solidarity, a lot of the principles that I organize around are the socialist principles, right? And so I would ask Baba certain things about that.
indeed.
And I remember he and I and Baba Bilal Sunni Ali, while we were here in Atlanta, um, standing outside the mosque, somebody took a picture of it, us three there talking. And I was asking him, I was like, how do we implement those socialist principles underneath while we're organizing as revolutionaries in a capitalist society? You know what I mean? He was like, well, Tutmos, you have to look at it like you got a three-pronged look at the thing. You have Africa, you're dealing with the diaspora, and we have the revolutionary organizations here in the United States. As a matter of fact, Baba, weren't you and I together at the UN General Assembly meetings year before last? Were you there at the protest for Zimbabwe for against the sanctions? You guys remember that?
Yes, yes, that's the September 12th movement work. Yes, we're part of that work. That's
Right. I was in
every
22,
General
we were there
Assembly.
together, right? In 22, we were there together at
Yes,
at the Oinga. And so that was a part of it too. Matter of fact, while I was there that week, I stayed with Sekou. I stayed the night with Sekou and Mama DeQuee over in Fort Greene and
yes,
caught the plane back to Atlanta from there. But that's kind of where I am with it. I have the Africa working with the African Union, right? I have my organizing work here as the diaspora to the African Union, and then I have the political prisoner work in regard to, and we have the radio station show here, FMW, RFG, and our show is What Good Is a Song, the Friday Night Drum, and Baba Bilal Sunni Ali is the elder of that show also. So there's those three things. There's the international, dealing with Africa. That's why I was there with Zimbabwe, have a very deep relationship with Zimbabwe, as many of our former ex-Black Panther political prisoners did also. I mean, people don't understand that Mutulu Shakur was there in Zimbabwe in 1980 when Bob Marley was raising the flag. I mean, when Bob Marley was singing the national anthem and they were raising the flag, Mutulu was there that day. We discussed earlier Sekou Odinga's organization of the international chapter of the Black Panther Party there in Algeria. Also shared some stories with me in regards to working in, of all places, Chad. I'm like, you were in Chad? What are you doing in Chad, bro? But you never would have guessed it or thought it, until he expressed that to you. He was like, yeah, it was cool. We all Muslims. They were, they gave me everything, the work in the Congo, organizing there after Shay left. He said he went down. They figured, hey, maybe you get some brothers from America to go and work with the Congolese instead of some of the Hispanic. Maybe that'll work better. Sekou was in the middle of that negotiation between when Shay decided to leave and he went down there to Congo to get with Kabila and them and finish that training, right? So a lot of these socialist and African international connections of the Black Panther Party, you have to kind of piece them together. I do, from Black Panther Speaks and from this book, just to look at the international history of the Black Panther Party, the relationship with Cuba and some of Nicaragua and some of the other Caribbean and South American nations, and of course the relationship with Africa, the chapter of the Dalit Panthers in India and in Australia. That international history of the Black Panther Party was something I was very curious about, and he was able to kind of give me an overlay based on his history, how the Black Panther Party approached a worldwide black revolution, which is what they were planning. It wasn't just about here in the United States. And Sekou had that perspective to say, yeah, man, we trying to spread through Africa and all around the world. We got chapters in India. The brother from Australia, and then we sending instruction manuals to them and how to organize themselves in there. So what they were building was a worldwide revolutionary movement, and so I think that sometimes we get caught up on just the domestic aspect of the Black Panther Party, but Sekou was able to let me see that this was an international revolutionary effort that stemmed from the United States of the Black Panther Party. And that was a very, 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 that was eye-opening. Like, y'all try to take over the whole world? You're like, yeah, for real. So that was real to me.
Yes. Brother, I appreciate you sharing, and that gives us further ammunition to continue this work. Let's continue to organize. Let's continue to fight in the spirit. We reached our moment of closure. We do this half an hour every Wednesday. You're always welcome to come on and speak. If you have anything to say about any political prisoner updates or any work you're doing or anything coming up, our platform is for other organizations as well. Because this is what we have to do. We have to utilize each other's resources so we can amplify this message about not letting our political prisoners die in prison and free them all. So y'all know the call. What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
All right.
Any means necessary.
Right, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Peace, brother. Peace and love, brother.